Hello. Today was our custody trial date. So here's how that went. All in all, I think it went as well as could be expected. I was able to voice my concerns. My daughters were able to tell their story. I was able to tell mine. I don't know what my son was able to do because, no parents were allowed in there, and that's completely understandable. But my ex, the narc, she got caught up in some stuff, and they kind of exposed her a little bit. And, she started getting angry, and that was, I hope, a good thing. What they caught her up in, and what my lawyer says is the biggest thing that can help me, because evidently the abuse doesn't matter. As far as a woman abusing a man, that doesn't matter. Or children that aren't on the custody docket, doesn't matter. And what caught her up was she admitted to a counselor, the one my son had been seeing, that she was trying to get her new husband to adopt my son. And this is why she was also trying to maintain the statement that she was trying to encourage my son to have something to do with me, which is contrary to the fact. So they kind of got her on that one, and they exposed that, and my lawyer went to try to prove that there was a pattern there, and the GAL actually shut it down, which was surprising to me, because if you can see a pattern of instability, why are you trying to hide it? You're supposed to be the advocate for the child. So you would think you would want to hear anything that had to do with the well-being of the child, or any mental patterns or behaviors that weren't quite kosher, But the GAO shut it down. And, I think a lot of it has to do with, they get these preconceived notions of, the man is always wrong. Or they just want to do what's easiest and, just give them to the mother, In fact, one thing that did bother me was the counselor that I wish I had recorded our conversations. She was kind of a bitch, I'm not gonna lie, because she got up there and she twisted my words around, because me and her had decided that for me to make it easier on my son, since my ex was pushing him and controlling him as far as, visits go and how he proceeds in the visits, and, and doesn't come, that it would be better if I didn't put him in that position. But I still made myself available. And somehow this woman took that I wasn't coming to the visits anymore, and that I was ready to give up my rights, which was not close. So that caused a little bit of that kind of hurt me. But I'm trying to think of what else happened. Leading up to it, I was really anxious, I was really down. In fact, the closer I got to it, the more depressed I got. But after going in there today and actually getting this over with, it was like a burden that was lifted off of me. Because I have fought for my son, and I told them people exactly what I thought today. And I've done my part. There's nothing else I can legally do within the law to aid my son, to protect him. And it's on them now. They can believe that a woman abused a grown man and 6 children, or they cannot. They can ignore the fact that she's been in and out of mental institutions ever since she was a child, because it's some kind of privilege, because we were married at the time, and the only thing that mattered was, after the divorce. They can ignore all that they want, but the fact of the matter is, it's on their heads now. And Christ said, what you do unto the least of these, you do unto me. And This is on their soul. I've done my best by my son. Now I'm not going anywhere. I'll do what I have to, but the best thing I can do now is just let it play out the way it's going to. And that's it. There was something else they caught her on, and I was trying to think of what it was. Oh well, it'll come back to me. But, you know, her lawyer didn't even say much today. I mean, my lawyer, I haven't been really satisfied with him at all up until this point. But today, he really did really well. And her lawyer kind of, I don't know if he could tell that she was full of shit and he finally realized it and kind of backed off. Or if he was just, had nothing else to say. But I don't know. You know, it's just a waiting game now, and whatever the judge decides. The counselor that was supposed, this is what's funny, is this is why I call her a bitch, because whenever I was seeing her, she was telling me how she could tell my ex was not all there, that everything was wrong with her. And her master plan, and this is actually what she told me when I seen her in counseling, her master plan is to encourage my son to stay with my ex until she can see him in counseling for 3 or 4 years. And by that point, she's hoping that a child being raised by a narcissistic parent is able to wake up and go, you know what, this isn't right. And go, I want to go live with my dad. That is her brilliant master plan. Instead of going, you know what, this parent has obvious problems. Like she told me on the first time she met her, you know, I can tell there's something wrong with her. Anybody that actually talks to her for more than 10 minutes can. But, you know, instead of going there and saying, you know, she's got problems, you know, she didn't do it. She just went there kind of neutral and everything, except for a few little bullshit things that she twisted out of order. And I noticed when I was going to her, and she even lied about me telling her that I was in counseling, and I'd been in counseling for quite a while now, since before I left my ex, over this stuff. And I know I told her I was in counseling because I signed a release for her to get information from her. And I signed one with my counselor for her to get information. So I left all doors open. And that's what I told them in court today. I said, you know what? I've tried giving you guys recordings. I've opened up my counseling sessions. There's nothing I'm not hiding from y'all. Y'all can have it all. I said, that's it. It's out there, you know. But I'm completely transparent. And I told them, you know, I called them on their shit a little bit. You know, a woman can go in there, and I'm not sexist. I'm not trying to be sexist. It's just the way that it is. Women have a big advantage in the court systems. That I have nothing against women at all. But she just went in there, said I abused her. No proof of nothing. Just her word. Them not knowing her from Adam. Gave her a restraining order, took my custody away. I mean, what more of an advantage do you need? I mean, and I had sole physical custody. And it's been not me trying to do what's best for my son since then. It's been me trying to protect myself and help my son. So, I mean, it's been an uphill battle. And I think that's one reason I feel like, as well as I do, not that I feel good about the situation, but I feel like it's coming to a conclusion. One way or another, it's coming to a conclusion. It's going to be done, at least for a little while. I know it's going to be in and out of the courts for a while, but, you know, we'll have some kind of ending to this little melodrama for a while. But I don't know. And another thing that helped me, sorry, I'm kind of a rock freak. I like rocks. But helped me was, you know, the thing she said in there, and like the adoption thing and different things that she'd brought up were exactly the same things that she tried getting me to do with my stepsons. And that's the one thing she was never able to bully me into, was letting or getting me to adopt them. Never happened, never would have. And that was because at the time, I grew up with her dad, and we're not all perfect. And I'm not going to cast stones at anyone, but he is their father. And she was trying to use that as a way to get him out of the picture, just as she is me. And that showed me that she is still the same. She is still predictable. And now all I got to do is be patient, because even if they award her full custody, all I have to do is sit back and wait, because she will run out of things to power her. She will run out of things that keep her going, and she will then turn inward on that family unit. And that's going to help my stepsons see that, you know, she's been saying that it was me all this time. They're going to see, you know what, this woman is doing the same pattern, the same arguments, the same behaviors with this guy. And I kind of feel sorry for the dude, but then again, I don't, you know. Don't jump in bed with some other man's wife, you know. But then she's just going to implode. I mean, that's all there is to it. And I'm hoping that whenever that happens, if that be the worst case scenario, that, you know, then I'm able to bring to light all of her past mental issues and instabilities. But like I told my daughters today, you know, they were a little upset and I was a little upset, but we still felt like we achieved something. Whether we did or not, I don't know. But I lost my train of thought. Dadgummit. But we've decided to move from this place. You know, it's just, it's time to move on with life. And I think part of it was I came back here and I was subconsciously trying to reconnect with that family, you know, not necessarily her, but more or less my kids, because they've always been my kids, you know, and they always will be. But I don't know. Did I say something a while ago about the counselor saying that women were more nurturing? I don't know if I finished that train of thought or not, but, you know, I'm not saying that women aren't, but there's nothing saying that men can't be either. I've always been a very nurturing father, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but, you know, I have been. And I think a lot of men out there are, and it's a stereotype that is a pretty piss poor one, you know. For one, what does that say about the women that get with them? If you're not finding a nurturing mate, I mean, then then you should look at yourself, for one. And that's opened my eyes up to what I was doing. You know, I didn't find it. I found a crazy bitch. And it's really opened my eyes up. And as much as I'd like to close them and pretend that shit never happened and just stick my fingers in my ears and la 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 as loud as I can't do that, and I won't do it. I'm not going to be that person again. I'm not going to allow my children to go through that again. And, you know, like I talk to my daughters, I hope that they can learn from my mistakes. You know, I would hope that that would come out of it at least. But that was the extent of my day, you know. That was it. But, you know, all in all, I think it's going good. It's going better, you know. I don't know. We'll just have to wait. I think the court said it'll be like 15 days before the lawyers have to get all their stuff in, I guess, for the judge. And then after that, he'll make a decision. But I went in there expecting to lose. You know, they're trying to get me to where I have no visits. Absolutely none. because the counselor's saying that my son doesn't want to. Well, obviously he's saying he doesn't want to. He's in an abusive house with someone who's beating it into his head. You know, he's afraid to say anything differently, you know, because why would he? I can't blame the guy. It's survival mode. But anyway, that's where I'm at on that. And I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot more ups and downs to come. And, you know, we just got to stick together, all of us. You know, we're thriving survivors. You know, it may not feel like it all the time, but like my girlfriend is telling me, you know, it's just one little step at a time. You know, that's all you can do. It may not feel like it all the time, but, you know, as long as you're moving forward, you're moving forward. And that's about it. Thank you all for watching my melodrama, and for commenting, and for liking and sharing. You know, it means a lot to me. And, you know, I'm hoping that it helps somebody out there the way other videos have helped me. Because each video is different, you know, that I watch. And I would take a little bit out of this one, a little bit out of that one. You know, not everything is the same. Not every situation with the narc. So if you're watching narc videos or people with BP, borderline personality disorder videos, and you're learning about this stuff, just because something doesn't fit yours doesn't mean it ain't that. Because these people they're sheep in wolf clothing, man. They're just evil incarnate. If you ask me, they're the worst predator out there. They absolutely are. Because they will kill, steal, rob, and destroy. They will maim, murder. They don't care. They absolutely do not care. There's not a line that they won't cross. Not one. Not a single one. Except the line of being a decent human being. They dance away from that son of a bitch as quick as they can. And there's this fool on there. I hate the trash, but he keeps saying that these people can change. I'm telling you, this dude must be one, because they do not do it. They do not do it. You cannot change someone like that. They may want to change, and I don't know if they even ever want to change, but, you know, I actually think at times there was, with my narc, there was times that she actually was honest with me for a second and could see what she was doing, but that was just briefly. I mean, briefly. And I think the only reason that happened was because it worked to her advantage. But just be careful out there. Don't be afraid to love. You know, I'm really afraid of that right now, but I'm working on it. And I have a really patient girl that's, you know, she's really been good to me. But it's going to take time. And nothing happens overnight. We didn't get this way overnight. It's not going to go away overnight. But God bless y'all.